Cosmos. I am Captain Jingle Bells, and well, this is my first Let's Play, so without further ado, let's get started. I happen to like the Caveman2Cosmos mod because it takes civilization and puts it into such a more detailed depth. If you're a fan of how long and how detailed Civ can get from some of the longer games, this is definitely a Let's Play for you. Quick overview real quick of all the enhancements this mod adds that I know of, and kind of the options we've chosen for this Let's Play. We're going to be doing a continents map, and on Gigantic, as you can see, this mod adds a couple of, sizes up on map size, giant, gigantic. We're going to play on the largest one possible. By the way, with 15 teams, as it were. You have to forgive me if I stumble over my words, because like I said, this is my first Let's Play. We're going to go random climates, random sea level. We're going to start in the prehistoric era. This mod adds a couple of eras, notably the prehistoric era, as well as transhuman, galactic, and future eras. I have never made it out of the prehistoric era on this mod, not because I was failing horribly, I just haven't played it that much. So, the first part of this game, I'll be able to say pretty much, I'll be exploring some of the features I haven't explored yet, and, but I'll be okay. But when we start getting more into what we classify as the ancient era, it'll be a blind Let's Play for me, and, maybe we can explore some of this together. Because I've noticed not a lot of people do the Caveman2Cosmos. A few do, but not many. We're also going to be playing on Eternity Speed, because I personally believe any mod that's going to add such depth to this game absolutely needs to be, it's meant to be played at the longest setting. Things make more of a difference. Things take a while. You have to be more strategic. We're going to do a cylindrical world wrap, simply because the tundra regions and the Arctic regions tend to be a slight bit, impassable in some areas, and because of the one we're using will likely have ice caps. It's not necessary to use a toroidal world wrap, which allows north to south travel, not just east to west around the edge of the map, but we'll do cylindrical, and east to west travel I think is perfectly fine. We'll do standard resources there. Some of these settings are a little different from the base. I'm going to start completely from scratch, so no advanced starts there. City raising, of course, and civilization raising cities happens. Flipping from culture. I don't agree with this one, because sometimes you get this flip-flopping effect in Civ 4 where it goes one to the other, to the other, to the other real fast, just from culture. And I like that culture does allow the cities to flip, so we're gonna leave it unchecked. I do like, I'm saying a lot, we'll have to put that. So with this option unchecked, if my culture or even another civilization's culture ends up surpassing mine, they can take cities from me and vice versa, and I'm going to play the role. We're going to do some slight RP with this, so I'm going to play the role of, hey, if a city's culture flips into another civilization, that's fine. Now, having said that, if I flip a city because of my culture, and it, like, next turn wants to flip back, I'm going to give it, I'm going to say no right then, just to give it a turn or two to kind of get some culture going, because I tend to do that. I tend to start with culture in some of the cities later on in the game, just because, it helps keep, other cities from just rampaging back on you. I do like barbarians because they allow for certain things, and this game is designed to have the barbarians to be played with. That much will be obvious as we play. So obviously we need those. I'm not, however, going to put raging barbarians on or anything like that, because I've only ever played Civ 4 on Chieftain. I'm going to be playing it on Warlord this time, just to give a little bit of a challenge. If it's too easy, then on my next Let's Play, I'll continue to up it. I don't want to make the game stupendously hard. I want it to be fun, but I also want it to be a challenge, and it's not fun for you guys if it's not a challenge here either. So, hopefully this will add a little bit of a challenge, just because it's a difficulty level I haven't played before. Maybe. Who knows? Let's see. We're also going to do random civs, because they completely redone the traits in this game, so they don't work quite the same way. There's not a whole lot of information out there on exactly what these traits do and how they work, and I haven't played it enough to know by looking at the things that pop up in the game yet. So we're going to go random. I don't really think it's going to matter anyway. No aggressive AIs. The AIs are plenty aggressive enough as it is. Unrestricted leaders. It kind of takes away some of the RP, so we're going to leave that unchecked. We want the leaders to match the nations they represent. Random personalities, again, for the same reason. We're going to leave that unchecked. I do, however, believe we should leave the choose religions. I want to keep that checked because I think the state would have a choice in the matter. If we're sitting here and your country wants to change religions, that's a state choice. It's not just an automatic thing. If a religion wants to come in, especially early on, religions were normally based on what the leader of that country or nation was. I mean, it happened a lot where a leader would flip to a different nation or a different nation. God, I can't talk straight today. This is making me nervous doing my first Let's Play video, I guess. Either way. But the leader would flip religions, and they would force the country to follow, and it happened a lot. So I think we need to have the ability to choose religions. Plus, later in the game, when different cultures start pulling and doing different religions, it can be very strategic to be able to choose your religion if you haven't already at that point, in order to set up a nice starting alliance early on in the game. So. No technology trading. I do like the idea of trading tech. I do not, however, like the idea of trading tech you don't already know. So I'm going to put no tech brokering on. In the sense, it means I can't give away a tech I don't know yet. Let's say I'm researching it, it's a promissory thing. I can't do that with tech brokering. And I like that because I don't like the idea of, picking up 2 or 3 technologies or some other nation even doing it. I'm playing on Warlord, so I don't know how the AI reacts to each other at this point. But I don't like the idea of them going, hey, I want to be researching this in 10 turns, and hey, I'll give you this, and this if you'll, whatever. I don't exactly know how it works, but it seems like I shouldn't have that on, so I'm not. And quite frankly, that's whatever. So, permanent alliances, that's more of a strategy thing as well. I do think that with 15 different nations, I'm not going to be playing this game for ultimate world capture. It's not about having the biggest or the largest civilization. It's about winning. There are multiple ways to win in Civ 4, and this mod adds quite a bit of ways to win, actually, which we'll go over in a minute. At least the ones I know. So, so that's an option. Permanent alliances. It could be beneficial for me if I want to do a team project to work on a permanent alliance with some of my closer neighbors. I'm not sure yet how exactly that's going to work. Required complete kills can just be problematic, especially if they've got a unit in a hard to reach area or it's a really strong unit. This just means that if the last city is taken, you're out, and then you don't have to hunt down all your warriors and things like that. No vassal states. I don't like the idea of the puppet states, one nation controlling several other nations and effectively having 4 civs to work with. I'm not sure whether or not that the AI, one AI would take over all of that, or even if I had a vassal state, if I could control what they do or not. But at the same time, I don't want to run that risk. I like the idea of each civilization taking care of itself. If they want to go to war with each other and ally up, then that's fine. They can do that through diplomacy. And of course, random events is what this game's all about. They added so much stuff, you need to leave that on. No espionage, just because I'm not an espionage player. I mean, even with espionage on, I would not use it. It doesn't add too much to the game other than a few events where you get dead or killed or things like that. If I was strategic enough, I would play with it on because, of course, it is part of the game. But I like the idea of being able to turn that off, so that's what I'm doing. Barbarian World, it adds a free barbarian city for every civ in the game. With 15 civs in the game, that's going to be a total of 15 extra barbarian cities. Early in the prehistoric era, that's the only way to expand is capturing cities because you can't train any units. You got to research the ability to train units, which I think comes with tribalism. I could be wrong. There may be an earlier one. I haven't fully explored the tech tree yet, but you don't have the ability to train settlers. And while you have to keep in mind you have to expand slow and keep your stuff tight to start with for economical purposes, I'm making up words here, for economy purposes, with barbarians in the world, it can make expanding early on to 3 or 4 cities quite nice. Plus, it adds the military aspect of early leveling up for your military and different things. We're going to be, as you can see later, we've enabled the Great Commanders option for this mod. But see, no revolutions. Of course, we want revolutions. It's part of civilization. And, this is not meant to be easy. If we fail, we fail. I'm not going to just keep restarting the game. If we die out, great. We'll move on to another civilization and we'll start again. Limited religions. I think a civilization should be able to found as many religions as they want to. I don't exactly know how religion is done in this mod yet. I haven't gotten into all of that, but I think if a city wants to found 2 different religions, they should be able to. And if it causes conflict, we'll deal with that when the time comes. Same for Inquisitions. I don't know what Inquisitions are. They're not in the base game. I haven't got that far yet, but it seems like it's something added by the mod. We might as well use it. No barbarian civs. What this does, it seems to me, and again, I haven't had the chance to experience this one way or the other yet, but it seems to me like without this option checked, a barbarian civilization could grow up, as it were, and turn into an actual, essentially, even though there's only 15 teams and there's 14 AI in this game, a barbarian civ could turn into an actual AI and go from being a barbarian to the 16th team, as it were. And I've never played with 15 teams before, and I have a feeling it's going to be quite interesting, and there's going to be a lot to deal with. So I'm perfectly fine with keeping barbarians as barbarians, which is what this does. This mod also adds an option or a system called tech diffusion. Essentially, if I'm skyrocketing ahead of everybody around me, I'll start bleeding tech to neighboring civilizations as a way to help maintain levels of equality, I guess, and balance. And so we're going to leave that on because that's kind of that mod is set to do that. It's part of how it makes it more realistic. I'm perfectly fine with that. Start as a minor civ. No, I'm good with starting as an actual civilization. That's kind of how the game was made. Even though I'm sure that there's some difficulty and some other options to work with as a minor civ, but I'm going to start as a regular civ this time. We may do that option on another Let's Play. Usable mountains is interesting. It allows basically the mountain peaks to turn into just bigger hill tiles. More production, you can use them. They may have resources and different things. But I like the map aspect of having to build around the impassable things, especially early in the prehistoric era. And by the time we get into the later part of the game, we'll have better roads and it won't matter anyway. So might as well use that. Maybe some more RP in there. I'm not exactly sure. Role-playing is RP, for those of you who do not know. And I may do, not a full-on role-play, but just kind of add some story to it as we go. Surround and destroy. I'm sorry. This is interesting. It does add more realism. It allows for, it takes the standard civ of building one army on one tile and just ramming head on until something, falls. It takes that strategy and changes it. He wants you to take more turns to kind of set up around the city and stacks and kind of come at it from all sides. And that's fine. That's great if you want to play that way. However, I'm used to the civ combat system, and I'd rather focus on other areas of this mod at the moment, learning other areas. So I want to leave this unchecked and just deal with the standard, how to build up and stack your units and whatnot. However, the advanced diplomacy I'm leaving on because I like the idea of a more in-depth diplomacy system. Unlimited wonders, as you know, some in Civ, there's certain limitations to certain amounts of wonders, but there are so many added wonders to this, and you grow so slowly at the beginning of the game. I do believe that it's necessary to check this option. Does it mean we're going to have a wonder-heavy game? Absolutely. maybe not right away. You know, this game has a lot different strategy that will get to points where, you know, different cities will be pretty well built up, but there will also come points where we'll have to start specializing our build order in our cities to compensate for different civic and economic variances and things like that. And I'm not gonna lie, I have yet to play a perfect run through, like I said, of this mod. I've never gotten out of the prehistoric era, and I've made mistakes. Both times I've tried to play through it. I haven't lost yet, but I have made several mistakes, and I expect to make many through this playthrough. But like I said, as a blind raw playthrough, and as a learning experience, why not? You can laugh at my failures. I'll probably be laughing at them as well. Barbarian generals, just because I'm not used to the difficulty level, because I already expect a bit of challenge, even though you probably won't see that until later in the game and later in the Let's Play. But I don't like the idea of barbarians gaining generals just yet. If I wanted to let the barbarians turn into civilizations, this would be okay, but I'm stopping that, and I want to keep just the barbarians, just keep them simple barbarians. I need them to be XP farms, basically, to kind of offset my ignorance in the way of this game and this mod. So that's kind of meh. I don't quite understand zones of control. However, it just suggests that, you know, we turn this on at the moment due to a known bug, so we're going to do that. Final 5 has to do with elimination games. Every 50 turns until there's only 5 left, people go away. But that kind of, I like the idea of having multiple civs. How many can survive through? How many are we going to take out in the prehistoric age? Because we do plan on thinning out this herd a little bit. So we're going to leave this off so that we can keep as many of these going as possible. You know, the same here, high to low. I'm going to be playing the same civ. I don't want to become the best score and then play the lowest score into the best score and so forth. I'm playing the civ we're starting with. Increasing difficulty for the same reason. I'm not going to increase everything up to deity level over the course of the game. I'm not that good. I'm sorry. If you're looking for someone who is amazing at this game, you're not going to find it on this channel. This is just me playing a game, having some fun, and talking about it. So, hey, you know, maybe exploring a little bit, giving some info out here and there as I come across it. You know, so if you're okay with that, and you want someone who's, you know, not, if you're okay with someone who's not amazing at this game, then by all means stick around. But amazing at this game, I am not. I played with the idea of making up some sort of name for, you know, my YouTube channel that involved the word noob, because it describes me quite well. But I didn't. I came up with Captain Jingle Bells because, you know, couldn't come up with a generic noob name. Probably could have if I thought about it, but I'm lazy, so hey, whatever. Let's see. Ruthless AI. Again, the AI is difficult enough. I'm going to leave that alone. Great Commanders is another option in this mod that allows you to do something with your great people. I haven't had the option to use this yet, or not the option. I haven't used this yet. I've done other things with my great people. But this, from what I understand, allows them to kind of become a unit that moves with the stack and gives extra options to the stack and things like that. And I may use that later on. I will not be using that early, but I'm going to leave it checked because I like the idea of having, again, more options to work with strategy. Culturally linked starts. I'm not going to deal with that. I mean, I like the idea of kind of this is several civilizations kind of starting on a fresh planet. You know, I don't really need to be culturally linked based on what happened on Earth. So, personalized map. This is the first time I'm using this option. I want to see what it does. I'm not sure if it allows me to personally name landmarks and stuff as I discover them, or if it just kind of names it according to names in the surrounding culture. So like if I end up with Egyptian, they may name a river near me the Nile. I don't know if it's just like that. There was certain things that did that in certain Civ games. Or if it actually is going to allow me to personalize this. We're going to act as whatever nation we get, we're going to rename the info. And it may take me a little bit. I'll figure out how to do that off camera. But we're going to rename the info because we're going to make a story of a completely new empire. One that hasn't been seen yet. Advanced advanced economy, again, it's the mod's version of economy. I want to see how that works. It's probably designed to work with the other systems in the game quite well. Realistic culture spread is interesting. In the original game, your culture spread out in, predefined chunks. Due to the slow speed of this game, culture spread realistic kind of makes it more realistic. Well, I mean, kind of self-explanatory. I'm Captain Obvious here. Culture spreads from cities in a more realistic fashion over low-lying areas more quickly than peaks, hills, and jungles. What you'll find with this is that the culture spread tends to go along roads a lot better and tends to go along valleys and things like that. It tends to avoid the heavily forested regions and stuff like that. So you'll get faster spread over more open areas and over, along trade routes and things like that. And it's quite nice. I think it's a very good feature. Larger cities without metropolitan administration. This metropolitan administration seems to me to be, I've never used it before. I'm going to leave it unchecked so that we don't have to worry about it. It seems to me like they have set up more kind of an individual city leader system, maybe like a mayorship or something. I have no idea. We'll figure it out one of these Let's Plays. But at the moment, I want to focus, like I said, on other aspects of learning the tech tree and things like that nature. So I'm going to leave this off so the city can get bigger, without worrying about all that kind of specifics. Realistic corporations. Corporations will expand and grow dynamically without player involvement. I love that. It simulates more real-world environment, and I don't have to keep building all these executives. So I'm going to leave that on. Also with tax for profit, that may allow us to get some more gold. Religion decay. I like this idea. It allows for the shift and flow of religion and more realistically. With this, while we can allow for multiple religions to be started, the ones that become more popular are going to stick around, and the ones that are less popular kind of go away. And so while we can choose the state religion, we may decide later on that many of our cities have many more of a certain religion, and we may decide to switch at that point. Another reason for choosing religions. Barbarians always raise. No, more realistically, certain barbarian tribes would actually conquer the cities and use them, as well as the fact that if they always raise, then it takes away our ability to expand and different things. We can choose to raise a city if we want to, for strategic purposes, or because there is, it's a bad city site, things like that. But we want to be the ones choosing that as the human player, because I don't want to rely on the AI to make good decisions. That's, I rely on the AI to make life heck for me. That's what AIs are supposed to do. They're not there to make good decisions about how I'm supposed to play the game. But, hey, I just don't want them to always raise. Now, if they choose to raise more often than they choose to take the city, that's fine. But we don't want to force them into options. United Nations, I've never been able to do the United Nations on this game. I haven't played it enough to get to that victory yet, much less in this mod. But since I'll be playing this mod almost exclusively for a while anyway, I like this idea. I don't know if it requires you to have allies or not, but it's a form of victory. Like I said, we're enabling all victory conditions. So, this is not a game of conquest. This is a game of civilization development. And sometimes we'll go for military, and sometimes we'll go for science, and sometimes we'll go for wealth, and whatnot. And as I learned this game, and I'm sure you guys will tell me, different little tips and tricks as we move along, because that's what YouTube is. Y'all have a need to help, and I appreciate that. So as we learn the game, or I learn the game, really, y'all probably know the game. As I learn the game, and we get different things, we'll start trying to maybe push for certain victories and stuff. But right now, we're just going to see how it goes. Advanced espionage, of course, is off because we're not doing espionage. Advanced nukes, I don't know what this does, but the Civ 4 system at nuke level seemed kind of shoddy, so why not? Let's see what it does. Divine prophets can found a religion. Use divine prophets to found religions. I like this too. Because in real society that happened. You know, a great person would come along and boom, you got a new religion laying around. So, you know, I like to keep that on. No city limits from civs and no fixed borders. Both of these are size limiting options. The mod puts in certain civics, certain things, certain texts, and different whatevers, I guess, that actually limit how big your cultural border can grow and how many cities you can have and things like this. Well, this is civilization. If we can have the money to expand, we can keep up with that, then why shouldn't we expand? I mean, I'm not going to be sitting here playing an inner game. Now, there may be some times when, you know, I'm going to be playing, you know, we're hitting enter a lot and not doing a lot, but I don't want it to be that kind of let's play. I want to be doing things, building up, you know, different. I mean, I'm personally, you know, I may have some pieces, some periods of peace, but I personally am going to be at war with somebody as often as possible. Then restabilizing the economy after the war's over, getting everything resituated, and going from there. Because you know you got to have some action. Y'all don't want to sit here and watch me press enter all the time. Let's see, infinite XP. This just seems like a good idea. No loss of XP when upgrading troops. That, you know, basically as a troop upgrades, it needs more and more XP to get to the next level. So like you might need 3 XP to get to level 1, 5 XP to level 2. I don't exactly know how it works, but you know, and in the base game, each time you would do it, like you might get your 3 XP, and then to get to the next level, you got to get all 5 of your next XP. You know, so you have to get a total of 8 XP to get to level 2. In this, if I get my first 3 XP, and then I gotta get, if I gotta get to 5 for the next level, then I just need 2 more XP to get to the next level, which I like that idea. It allows for your troops to kind of diversify out. And trust me, keeping troops is somewhat difficult. You can go pretty well with, you know, getting your troops all built up, and the next thing you know, one of them dies because you forget to heal them or something. Really, that's my fault. But hey, it happens. Just like it happens in real life. Unlimited national units. With this, I want this. I think with the national units, there's certain things in place to keep you from having too many of them anyway. Which, you know, they cost like an extra +1 gold or an extra +1 of some resource for every unit on the field or in play. I don't know if this takes that away. I don't think it does. But hey, we'll figure it out. I just don't want to limit the, you know, if it's a national unit, it seems like some sort of, it's possible that it's a unique unit of some sort or requires a specific civilization. You don't want to be limited to how many of those you can have running around. No negative traits and pure traits I'm leaving alone because negative traits are a part of the mod. It's a big part of the mod, so I'm leaving those in. As far as pure traits, I'm not going to mess with the new trait system. I don't know it well enough to mess with it yet to see what it would do anyway. Developing leaders and start without positive traits. What this does is developing leaders allows you to kind of pick and gain your traits as you move, either level up the traits you already have or gain a new trait. That's kind of cool. It's like a level up system almost. Not really, but kind of. And then start without positive traits means that we start with 0 traits because it disables the positive and the negative traits on startup. So we'll start in the prehistoric era with 0 traits, which means it really won't matter what our leader is because we can build that as we go. Which I will be doing, you know, whatever. Yeah, it happens. See, no nukes? Absolutely not. We want the ability to nuke the fuck out of people if we want to. Just because it's a computer game, we're not actually hurting people. Religious disabling. I'm going to leave this unchecked because it seems to me like checking this will allow a religious system to disable my government at some point based on me not taking care of it. And yeah, we might put that on at some other point, but you know, kind of noobish to the game and definitely noobish to this mod, so we're gonna try to make, you know, try to put some difficulty level in it, but not make it ridiculously sim. Upscale unit and building cost, no, we're gonna leave that the same. The fighter flight and size matters mods are combat mods that add specific promotion lines and certain abilities. I'm not exactly sure exactly what, but it does increase the base strategy, different level up promotional lines and things like that. I believe that this is where the terrain movement promotions and things like that come from. minimum city border. No, I mean, hey, if you're going to found a border right next to a city, or their city pushes your border out, then, you know, that kind of, you know, put this on kind of disables your ability to get a city from culture, because it makes those 9 tiles immune to culture, and I don't want those 9 tiles immune to culture. This is part of this, whatever. More rivers, more resources, of course, because I'm an economist at heart. I love having more rivers and more resources. Does this mean we have an advantage? No, because everybody gets it. It just means we have more to work with. Assign specialist XP. Seems like they made the specialist where they can give certain units XP. I'm not going to worry about that right now. More XP to level. No, because I like leveling. If it seems like we're leveling too fast in this XP, in this Let's Play, which I'm sure y'all will let me know, then we'll use this option next Let's Play. Nightmare mode, no. No, if I ever get to where I'm playing on Deity and it's too easy, we will enable Nightmare mode. Since I'm playing on Warlord, because I've never played on anything above Chieftain, because I'm total noob, then, you know, we're not going to deal with that. Size Matters Uncut seems to mess with the Size Matters option, which I do believe I checked up here. Let's see, I'm sure I missed it just then. Give me a second. Oh yeah, I just talked about it. Go figure, Size Matters. This is apparently a way to leave Size Matters as an option, probably for promotions, but without the modifiers or something. I'm gonna leave it the way it normally is. Teleport hunting awards, that'll be kind of understood more later. I'll probably mention it again. Without this, every time your hunters or units of any kind kill an animal barbarian, there is a production and food bonus that you can get. Without it, you have to teleport, you have to literally hunt and then bring the animals back. It's complicated. This just automatically makes that production bonus happen without me having to research everything and all this, and I think we're going to use that again. We can change it for the next Let's Play if y'all think it makes everything a little too easy. Amnesty for units with using rites of passage. We're not using espionage, and I don't see why we should make it where hidden nationality units, which their whole point is to be able to attack without revealing who they're from, you know, without declaring war, why we should limit that. So we'll leave that in there. Hide and seek has to do with visibility, and I'm going to leave the visibility standard. After I learn the rest of the mod, I may play around with that. Peace among NPCs, absolutely not. Fight it out, people. Animals stay out. In this mod, you can set it, you can leave this unchecked, and animals will wander inside your borders. I'm going to leave it where they stay out, because I don't know if they attack the cities, and I don't want to deal with trying to protect against animals, and there are a ton of animals. I don't think yes, it's like an army of animals that keep respawning. So yeah, I don't want to deal with trying to protect against that. I'd rather deal with trying to protect against other enemy civs. Reckless animals, again, there are a ton of animals, and for the most part, they wait for you to attack. There's a couple animals that will attack you or attack another of your animals if you want or not. But for the most part, they won't attack you except for a couple. However, reckless animals means everything will attack everything, since sometimes you can have all 8 of your surrounding tiles filled up with animals. You can imagine when you're struggling to, you're having to heal after every hunt, what would happen if all 8 of those animals would just berserk after you. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Not yet. Maybe when I get better, we'll see. Neanderthal cities, of course, we want Neanderthals to spawn in the prehistoric era. City starts with 1 tile. No, we need the ability to work with certain things. Like your culture does grow your borders in this mod, but on Eternity setting, and everything else, you're literally talking about growing 1 or 2 culture tiles each time your city culture grows. I like the initial 9x9 city placement. It allows for a more strategic setup of your cities, because you don't want to get too far away for economy purposes and financial purposes. The further away something is from your city, from your capital city, the more it costs to run that place. And I made a mistake in my last play. I played on my own, where I took a city that was way far away. Might as well have been on the other side of the world, like the difference between the southern tip of Brazil and Canada away. And of course, I couldn't handle it. I ended up having all my workers go on strike. It was horrible. Of course, needless to say, I recovered in that one, but that was bad. I learned a valuable lesson there. I hope I don't learn lessons quite that bad here, but I probably will learn some. Realistic siege. It makes the sieging of cities in combat more realistic. Certain buildings have, make it in this game apparently where you have to, the city's defenses have to be reduced to a certain point before you can attack, just like in a real siege. And we're going to keep that on because it makes it more interesting. The vanilla BTS combat engine, of course not. We want the modded combat engine because it uses the Better Bat AI mod in this system. And I do believe that encourages the computer to make smarter decisions. And of course, Without Warning has to do with assassination and stealth combat with visibility and espionage, and we're not using that. So, we don't need that on. And with all that being said, without further ado, let us get this game launched. So, in the next episode, we will be hitting the launch button and starting the game. Hopefully, we can get her done. Anyway, take it easy, guys.